I think we can all agree on the fact that Syracuse basketball in this game against Houston, as nearly 15-point underdogs and missing their best player on the team in Donnie Freeman, that they exceeded our expectations. They were ready from tip. The first basket of the game, we talked about in the lead up how they need to make their open shots. And the first basket was J.J. Starling from the left corner drilling a three. Syracuse opened up a 23-14 lead in the first half, and you knew it wasn't going to last because this is the number 3 ranked team in the country for a reason in Houston. You knew they were going to have some pushback, and they did. This is a really good Houston team. This is a really good measuring stick for Syracuse because in their first 4 games, we know the deal. Syracuse was not exactly playing against the cream of the crop of college basketball here. A bunch of mid-majors that Syracuse, to their credit, they beat up on for the most part, aside from that Monmouth game, which was very, very weird. But I think we can kind of conclude that that Monmouth game was a fluke. We all know that that was a fluke, right? I think that Syracuse has proven that they are a much better team than what they showed against Monmouth in a game that I don't think that they played that poorly in, if you go back and check out that post-game podcast. Having said that, one more thing about that. Syracuse, I'm checking KenPom right now, they moved up all the way to 52. So this loss technically helped Syracuse out. So it's not a bad loss. But having said that, it's really hard to give a moral victory for Syracuse. As encouraging as the game was for the Orange, you can't really give out a moral victory because Syracuse, they could have won this game. In fact, you can easily make the argument they should have won this game. The big reason why Syracuse did not beat Houston is the same thing that gave him trouble against Monmouth. It's the same thing that has given this team trouble through all 5 games this season. And that is the fact that for whatever reason, this team cannot make free throws. That was the story of the game. With all due respect to Bruce Pearl, he said at halftime when talking about the adjustments that Houston needed to make and how they need to play better. And the thing that he said on the broadcast was they need to stop fouling. With all due respect to Bruce Pearl, I'm not trying to sit here and say Bruce Pearl that I know more basketball than him. Obviously, I don't. I'm not a former Division I basketball head coach. But with all due respect to Mr. Bruce Pearl, have you seen Syracuse free throw shooting this season? They came in as the worst team in the ACC in free throw shooting, and all they did tonight was make it a whole lot worse. The stats for you all, ladies and gentlemen: Syracuse basketball as a team, I'm pulling it up right now, was 12 of 29 from the free throw line. That is 41%. If I told you that was their 3-point percentage, you would probably believe me. I don't get it. I can't explain it. But if Syracuse basketball just makes a respectable amount of free throws, they would have beaten Houston. The other reason why it's hard to give out a moral victory for this game is because Syracuse, to their credit, they go on a miracle 11-0 run in the final few minutes of the game. It was sparked by what I would like to call an and 4. Because J.J. Starling off a turnover goes to the rim, gets fouled, and 1. So he gets the 2 points right there. He promptly misses the free throw because nobody was making free throws. But Tyler Betsey swoops in and tips it in to make it a 5-point game with a couple minutes left. On the next possession, after Syracuse gets a stop, in which case, by the way, there was a moment there where the ball don't lie because Syracuse, they forced a turnover, but the officials didn't overturn the call on the floor. I understand it, but it looked like it should have been Syracuse's ball. But to their credit, they still get the stop. William Kyle gets a dunk, and then right after that, Tyler Betsey hits the game-tying three-pointer at, I believe, 67-67. And the Orange, once again on defense, which was terrific all game long, They get the stop. And so they quite literally had a chance to win this game with one shot. One shot to win. Could you imagine what the reaction would have been like? Now, Nate George had the ball all the time in the world. I thought he should have pulled up. Instead, he dips it inside to William Kyle. William Kyle, I don't even think he really beat the buzzer with that attempt. I have to watch the replay over again. But regardless, JoJo Tugler made sure that wasn't going to matter because he blocked the shot anyway. And so even though Syracuse, in a miracle effort, forces overtime, it felt like a missed opportunity. It felt like that was their chance to win this game. And I apologize for sounding a little bit negative. The reason why is because moral victories don't really exist. They don't. When you have chances to win, you never know if you're going to get another chance to win a type of game like that. Now, fortunately for Syracuse, we'll talk about it later on the podcast. They do have a chance to redeem themselves in what I would think is a must-win game against Kansas. They're missing their best player in Darren Peterson. But it kind of leaves me feeling empty. This felt like a moment where Syracuse can announce to the world that they are back as a program by upsetting the number 3 ranked team in the country without their best player. And they fought so hard. And they fought so hard in that overtime as well. And I thought they got screwed at one point in that overtime as well. There was a moment with about 45 seconds left, and I don't like to blame officials. And trust me, I'm not blaming the officials. But I'm recapping this game. I want to point it out that the Orange got screwed with about 45 seconds left because Milos Uzan, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I apologize if I get it wrong. He's allowed to take 20 steps going to the basket. Since when did they change the traveling rules of basketball? And on top of not calling traveling, they called a foul as well. And of course, Uzan, he is terrific. Can we get that guy in the portal? I think he's out of eligibility, but can we rewind the tape there? How much for him? I'll take him. He was the best player on the court, both sides. And I know that Houston's got some great players, and Syracuse, to their credit, they got some great players too. I like this Syracuse team. This is a Syracuse team I can rock with because they fight so hard and they're athletic and they don't give up in games. And Uzan, well, the ball did lie. He made both free throws, 76-72. And Syracuse tried playing the foul game, but it didn't matter because Uzan hits 2 more free throws. And so the Orange lose 78-74 in overtime. Comment your thoughts in the comments section below. What were your takeaways from this game? Honestly, I do feel encouraged, but it would have felt a whole lot better had Syracuse been able to pull this out. They had a legitimate chance to do it, and they fell short.